Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 178 of the Hall of Gamers podcast. This week, I am joined by Cameron.
Hello.
And only Cameron. This week we have, I guess, been playing some games, and we have just like a little discussion that Cameron and I want to do, revolving some current game topics, to do with, server shutdowns and things like that. So we'll do that. And as always, we do the show live on Twitch. Come say hi. Join us in the chat at Hall of Gamers, Xbox Hall of Gamers. This is the place to find us as always, and you can interact with us as we do the show live. Just like Red Ninja Dan is in the chat. So, and yeah, let's get into it. How you doing, Cameron?
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, what's been going on? Have you had a good day?
I've had a good day. I did a bit of Doom today. Actually,
Okay, cool. So you've been playing video games while I've been at work.
I was gonna say I did my Super Dungeons run today, like I've been doing every single day, which we'll talk about when we've been talk about games we've been playing. Other than that, just the usual, just working in that. But yeah, I woke up at 4 a.m. I just could not get back to sleep. I was like tired last night, and I just did a few levels of Doom. Dark Ages is gone.
Yeah, well, you can tell the cat's been really cold because I've had to wake up and the cat's just put me in an awkward position while I've been sleeping. And you can tell that I'm in an awkward position because my lower back is just killing me just from sleeping in a weird direction. So, it's cute, but the things you have to do for your cat.
In the back.
Yeah, it's a pain in my back. So, but yeah, I'm just started my work week, so that's me for the weekend. But yeah,
I was gonna say it's prime gaming weather at the moment too. Like for where I live, it was 10 degrees today, and it's just been like miserable outside all day, like non-stop raining.
Oh, well, funny enough, if you are in the warmth of your home, yeah, maybe. But if you're in a cold room and you're trying to be nimble on your fingers, and they're just stiff, you're not going to get any good twitchy action going. I think you're too cold, so you got to get your coffee on, warm up a little bit. I find I'm too stiff trying to play anything. If like the heat is not on or something. So, but I'm getting old, so, don't quote me on that. So, everyone will tell you otherwise, but, let's get into the community questions. So, we have Red Ninja Dan, as in the chat, is here ready to go with his question. So, he's been playing the Switch a lot recently because a friend introduced him to the Atelier series. And because the Switch doesn't have achievements, how would you guys add an achievement system to the Switch? I would add a star system instead of gamer score. Every achievement you complete, you get a star. And when you complete all the achievements for a game, you unlock game's power star. What do you think?
I mean, to me, the only thing that really matters is just them keeping the system consistent. And I don't think Nintendo has any plans to ever introduce an achievement system to the console, unfortunately. Saying that, I'm trying to think of like what would actually be the most enjoyable experience for the Switch to have an achievement system. Because there's definitely games on the Switch.
Right.
Like, Nintendo first party games I definitely want to play. But I don't spend too long on them either because of that lack of an achievement system.
I mean, you're always working on the 100%, right? So Dan's kind of like on the right track where I like that idea. We're basically going to 100%, and then you've unlocked some kind of star power. Whatever that star power is, who knows? Like, what happens? What do you unlock, like, wallpapers or bonus levels or, something you can only get when you get, like, the 100%.
Isn't stuff like Mario Kart World, they have, like, if you complete certain tasks, you get certain bonuses and that on top of it as well. Like I'm sure there's Nintendo games where it's like the 360 way of, you know, you complete this particular achievement, you unlock a special avatar, that kind of, like, I will say, as much as I don't know how Nintendo would do this, I think Nintendo has the most capability in terms of first party titles that they could borrow from to make the 360 kind of thing a possibility again. Because the only
like avatars,
like Mii's or whatever they're called, like integrate well with Nintendo's system. I feel like there's that level of crossover that they could, you know, capitalize on.
Yeah, like if you got 100% in Metroid, in Animal Crossing, you have a Samus like character,
like Samus skin, that kind of, yeah. I do think Nintendo would be the perfect out of the, I guess, the three major consoles to do that, because Xbox's is all but dead. I don't know what the go, like, has Sony ever had Avatar kind of?
They have had they had their, well, I mean, they've had a couple of things, right? They've had PlayStation Stars, for starters, which is the equivalent to the Xbox rewards, like the Microsoft rewards stuff.
Yep.
They've just killed that, so that isn't a thing anymore.
Yeah.
And in that, you actually were able to do weekly challenges or monthly challenges, both, I think. And you get little trophies, which are 3D figures that you could rotate and have a look at.
Yeah.
That would just be, and there'd be like a virtual shelf where you could choose, of all the things you unlocked, where on the shelf they would sit. So it's kind of like a meta thing, really. It's kind of like an outside of the game experience, which is kind of what you would want from Nintendo as well.
Yep.
But, like, do you remember at all the PS2 memory card system? Where you basically have save files, you put in your memory card, save file 1, say if you're playing Resident Evil or something, save file 1 will have one image, and save file 2 of that game will have a different image, save file 3 will have a different image again, and it's all related to the game. So, like, it might be a Leon character face, or a Claire character face, or a eye from, you know, like the...
I get what you mean. Back during that generation, I started off with the GameCube first. It wasn't until later that I got a PS2, and I have the GameCube storage system engraved in my head because they did the block kind of stuff. But
yeah, that's pretty similar.
I can't think of PS2 off the top of my head right now.
Yeah, it's similar where there's kind of like an icon for what it is, but with the GameCube, it was like this game took up X amount of blocks.
Yeah.
And then that was kind of it.
Just blocks
where,
and...
Yeah. Well, with the PS2, if you had different save files, they would be different instances. Kind of like you could manually go in and delete a single save file.
Yeah.
So, but also it depended on the game too. So, but yeah, I kind of like Dan's like star power thing actually a lot. So. I'm kind of like there's a good way to do it. I haven't been able to think of anything outside of that, except for the meta stuff. Like what can you get from something afterwards, right?
I mean, I wrote an achievement list probably a month or 2 months ago now. I'm just trying to think of, like, you know, them giving a framework for it as well, of like, this is best practices for. Like, for example, when I wrote mine, I said they should clearly define the goals of the game. Like, that should clearly define what the gameplay loop is. It should be a mix of easy, medium, hard goals. It should work to entertain players.
I'm sure that you quickly found that everybody's interpretation of those questions was different.
Yes and no.
Like,
I mean, it really,
what is the game loop? Where does it start and where does it end? It's a loop. It
well,
doesn't have an
no,
end.
but like you can. There's a whole bunch of like different game dev articles about it. I mean, just going from
Yeah.
clearly define the gameplay loop. It's you want to give them, reasons to get to the end. And I'm always of the fact of like if you have a whole bunch of easy achievements at the start, kind of like whittles you down compared to having a list that is equally achievable over the long term.
Yeah.
In terms, I'm just trying to tie it back to the Switch though. I do think whatever achievement system that they would implement, you would also consider the fact that it is a hybrid device.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
So I do think that because Switch is very much a more of a party console compared to Xbox or PlayStation, it would
Yep.
also be there would be achievements that centralize around like having multiplayer components. And what I mean by that is like, you sit around doing Mario Party or something like that, then the achievement system for that is going to be a lot of a different grind to like, Super Smash Brothers.
Yeah.
Um,
So there are some Nintendo exclusive games that have achievements kind of built into them,
it's like Zelda and that,
including like Hyrule Warriors
right? Yeah.
and the Xenoblade Chronicles stuff. And they are tough games. Like, if you want to get everything in those games, you will spend like thousands of hours on Hyrule Warriors or something trying to do it. Right.
Yeah.
So, and that's not even a proper first party game. That was done. Well, it was mostly, but then one of them, I think they got Koei Tecmo to do, or all of them. I don't remember. But the lists of the achievements and accomplishments that are in those games are insane.
Yeah.
And far beyond what you would get any achievement hunter working on for hundreds of hours. So I think if they were able to do that in game with every game, that would be fine by me. If their internal games like systems were consistent,
Yeah.
obviously not boring, but they could totally like use the stuff that they've learned from those games. On the Wii, the Metroid Prime trilogy, when you bought it as a set, had an achievement list. And when you unlocked those things, you basically got credit for it. And they were unlock tokens that allowed you to unlock more things in the collection. So as you achieved those things, it gave you the ability to unlock some stuff. And that was tied to an online system, and that's dead. You can't do that now. But that was really good. But
it kind of goes back to the Avatar like thing of like, that's whatever the Switch stuff should have. It should be it should allow you to basically unlock extra content. And I feel like the other reason why some of these companies don't do it as well is like that is DLC. Like that ends up being like cosmetic skins and DLC content and all that, which like it's another purchasable item to just add on to it end of the day. It's a bummer, but I don't think it's like Switch would ever change their ways either. But like mobile games, mobile games are the exact same when it comes to like having in-game achievements as well. Like I know I've worked on at least one that does.
I mean, like, even going back to the original side-scrolling Donkey Kong countries and stuff, there was always something else in the levels to go and get, right?
Yeah.
So you could go back and you could collect all the bananas, you could collect the DK symbols, or you could collect like Kong, in the word as well. So each level had its own system where you're going back, and then you get to the end of the game and it's like 103%, and you're like, oh, it's not 100%, it's 103%. Why is that? But it was always like a fun little you went above and beyond kind of thing to 100% it. which was cool. And I think Crash Bandicoot does the same thing. Yeah.
I was thinking,
something like
have we ever had like
Mm.
extra satisfaction from going over 100% though? Because to me, I could care less. It's knowing that the achievement list is fully complete to me. It's the overarching system. If it's a particular game in that, I think I'm past the point where I get satisfaction of just like, oh, the story's complete. And I think that's also the reason I don't play that many Switch games. Like, I'll play them in the party.
Mm.
I'll play them in the aspects of a party, but I won't play them, to wind down or anything. I don't,
Yep.
I'm a very sociable gamer these days. I don't usually
Yeah,
game
yeah.
by myself unless we're doing it in the context of the podcast or we're on a party doing like, co-op or something like that.
Yep. Most of my I don't know. I was looking at this for the Xbox cast in April, I think, when we were doing the achievement challenge stuff.
Yeah.
And I have like 800 and something unfinished games.
Yeah.
And every single one that I've started would have been just to do the multiplayer stuff, and I've not touched the stories like at all. And you've of course always got in even like 360 games, you've got the story, you've got the side content, and then you've got the multiplayer, right? So you've always got those three components. You're probably going to do the story and then maybe mop up the extra content and never touch the multiplayer. I'm like, I'll do the multiplayer and then I'll do the story and then I'll do the cleanup. So, but whether or not I go back and do it, I've got to get better at that actually. So, and I've only been playing the same few games, which has been really good. But yeah, so.
I hope that answers your question, Dan.
We did pretty well. We spent a good chunk of time on that one. That was good though. Yeah, so more star power to you. So
yeah, do stars. Just make each achievement a star. Just copy PlayStations, make them gold, silver stars. I don't know.
I do like the per game stuff, but there's no way to like replicate that consistently outside. Like getting 100% in one thing is just it with the way that Nintendo do some of their 100% is wild compared to some other games. And yeah, you're never gonna finish Hyrule Warriors or Xenoblade Chronicles. So
not with that attitude.
like casually, So maybe if they added achievements, I'd go and do it.
I wonder if there's any content creators that really do cover 100%ing as much as Switch games, because I know Gerard did back before the. Oh well, sorry, he covered everything, but he had Switch first-party content. But then obviously,
I would, I'd probably look at the guys that do Monster Hunter, and that's across a lot of the platforms. Okay. They do a lot of that kind of stuff, and I'd probably look at like speedrunning is its own category, right? You can speedrun for this reason or speedrun for that reason, and like 0% runs
but achievement hunters have some sanity behind their reasoning. Speedrunners are a completely different story.
Yeah, we're just locked to the Microsoft system and buy games that baby games that take 2 minutes to finish to.
All right, moving along.
Yeah. All right. Do you want to go into news?
Yeah. All right. Yeah? Do you want to start? Do you want to talk about the Stop Killing Game stuff? Because you've been following this and you know a lot more about this than I do. This is the thing that I haven't really kept up with.
I will talking about the Stop Killing Game stuff because this will lead into your Splitgate conversation as well. Yeah. Last year around April when they were closing down The Crew, one of the things that popped up was a little guy called Ross Scott that basically started doing some investigating and just kind of seeing what kind of avenues they could go down to stop killing games, basically. So, and this is basically going and putting in different petitions to different governments in different countries, or talking to people in different countries that were part of those countries to put in the petitions, because legally it wouldn't be a citizen to be able to do some of those things. So basically, going from the Stop Killing Games website that they've got set up, I'll just run through kind of what they are so we kind of know who they are.
Yep.
So Stop Killing Games is a consumer movement started to challenge the legality of publishers destroying video games that they've sold to consumers. An increasing number of video games are sold effectively as goods, with no stated expiration date, but are designed to be completely unplayable as soon as support from the publisher ends. This practice is a form of planned obsolescence and is not only detrimental to customers, but makes preservation effectively impossible. Furthermore, the legality of this practice is largely untested in many countries. Over the past year, which is, from April to now, they have successfully escalated complaints on the problem to consumer agencies in France, Germany, Australia, and have brought forth petitions for new law on the problems in various countries. List of the actions basically on their website. They've got a thing called past actions, which I think is really good to go over a couple of those, kind of like where they're at with some of these things. As most consumer action is starting to conclude, they're really they're just waiting on the decisions on some of these things. And one of the reasons this is kind of blown up, and there is a whole thing about some guy called Pirate Games, which I'm not going to go into, but basically brought things a lot more open into the space. Yeah, Pirate Software. But basically, their current main initiative is the European Citizens Initiative. Their petition was to hit 1 million, and they're at 1.4 million. And they've basically gone above and beyond what they needed for that, because there's a lot of fake profiles and all that kind of stuff that tick boxes and make, so if it was sitting directly at 1 million, then chances are any bots or anything that's made profiles and signed the petition would make it redundant. But because they're over, there's a bit of a window to say that, at least 400,000 of these might be enough to get over the 1 million mark. Looking at the past actions, where they are with some of this stuff, so they'd submitted in the UK, and that was in 2024. Their UK Parliament is basically and it ended prematurely due to the Parliament dissolving, and they were just looking at getting it reconsidered. In France, there was a little bit of success. It was inconclusive for various reasons, but it actually there's a possibility of suing Ubisoft in France because of the way that it's structured around the consumer law being part of that same country. So it's all ongoing still, but there's basically a place where you can submit to put in for legal mediators, because it's been escalated to the high levels of the agency from that. In Germany, guided people to submit complaints, and they got escalated as well, decision pending, and that's basically the same to the ACCC in Australia. In Canada, it was a dead end because the provinces have to deal with an issue instead that would be likely too small to impact the industry. USA, no response, but it was expected. So, and then Brazil, it failed because you needed sales figures. So the current one with the EU, where they got to over 1 million, so you can still sign it as of this point of the podcast being live, and if you're eligible, so if you're in the regions, you can have a look at that, and then they basically have to work on that basically from there. So Yeah. So, in saying that, I guess the big thing that kind of comes from this is the actual, I guess, the European Citizens Initiative one, where they basically had to stop. They had to call it "Stop Destroying Games." I don't know if killing is like too related to like a person or a being or something,
Yeah,
whereas destroying could be
there'd
like
be a reason
anything.
why they select that terminology.
Legal reasoning, yeah, and it's basically challenging the legality of video game destruction and protecting consumer rights and ending obsolescence in gaming, which, by the way, extends way beyond video games. So
Yeah.
this kind of stuff, it affects the, I guess, the media industry as a whole, because you're looking at like Audible, you're looking at like your Kindle books, which basically Amazon can basically cut you off from your purchases as well. Microsoft with the store with
I
the
was just about to say, like, you
mm,
retain the ownership to all those digital products, but the fact that people aren't able to add to their digital library anymore because TV and movies have been
yep.
removed. I mean, it's a different bit of a case because you still retain your ownership and all that over a product that you know, had paid for. But I don't know. The thing about all this that is interesting to me is like, what's the limitation? Are we going to? Is this eventually going to establish a framework whereas in a game launches and then 2 years after they have to have you know, is there an amount of time that servers need to be open for games like The Crew? Or is it a case of, you know, because
Um,
digital products are such a weird thing and there's different aspects. Sorry, I shouldn't say weird thing, but like there's different aspects of it. You might develop an app, not be able to support it. Like what's the limitations there and the costs and everything involved?
yeah, like when the iPhone's 5 years old and no longer can run games running on a different infrastructure, basically. Yeah, stuff like that.
That's
But
the other thing too. Like, you know, what point in time do mobile devices become too, like, you know, when can Apple just go like, all right, you're on a iPhone 10, we're no longer going to support you. You have to upgrade.
yeah, yeah.
That kind of stuff.
So I guess with the obsolescence, like the main thing is establishing a way and not to make these games playable after they're decommissioned,
Yeah.
essentially. So, like, because you've got a product and the product isn't a service, it's the product.
Mm.
You've provided a service, but people still own the product but can't use their product because it needs the service. So it's got to be paired with this thing,
Yeah.
and it's not one individual thing. So why are you buying something and then not being able to
And
use it? Like,
I think there's an
yep,
argument too of that of like, has the product changed? Because like, for example, if we use Battleborn and Battleborn had an offline mode before it, then is the product still the exact same product that I once purchased, or is it a completely different product because the way that I engage with that product has now changed?
well, Evolve is like a good example where they rolled back the netcode and made it basically the release day version. They had the game, it didn't have servers, they added servers, they rolled it back so you didn't need the servers.
Yeah. So
But
made a
then now
different
you can't
product. Yeah.
connect to anybody. Now you can't actually um, play that. Mostly, I don't know anyone that's been able to connect to anybody else online. But whether or not you can or
I
can't,
haven't touched it
it
in
still
years, but
lets you try.
I have been
So,
interested.
mm, yeah, yeah. So, a couple of the things that kind of popped up from some of the videos that I saw is that so you've got stuff like I guess Dave Jaffe was talking about some stuff related to it, and you had Yong Ye was talking about it as well. There's a few other people out there too, and one of the things that kind of popped up was that as a product, you buy something else like your like a shelf or something, and like this is one of the ones that Yongye was using. You buy a shelf, you own that shelf. If they discontinue the line, they don't come into your house and take it and say, no, you can't have this because we don't run this line anymore. So now you don't own it. And, so when, with video games and other media, you go into people's, like, they basically going into everybody's collection of games and getting rid of stuff that shouldn't, that they should still have access to. So, and in a lot of cases, people do still have access to them, but if Destiny went on offline, you wouldn't be able to play Destiny.
Yeah.
So, like, there'd be no way. Yeah.
It's interesting too, because I was just thinking then of like how many times has a product become, or have we been notified of a product becoming discontinued? I'm talking just in the grand scheme of things. And I've gone like, well, I'm going to buy, that's a really nice shirt and that company's going out of business. I'm going to buy 5 of them because I know they're a really nice shirt and never going to be able to get them again.
And I'll wear these shirts until they wear out or whatever. And then you're kind of done. So,
because like, for example, I've gotten really into like buy it for life kind of philosophy lately. I'm trying to think of what the principle is, but there's a saying that, you might spend 5 times the amount on a pair of shoes, but it would last you 10 times longer than a cheap pair of shoes. So then you're getting value out of that more expensive purchase. Can't remember what the principle is called off the top of my head, but that's essentially how the framework works. And I'm just thinking in terms of like video games, there's just enough, like, unless some kind of preservation group comes in and saves that particular title, it's always,
you can play, like, you can play games that are dead. Once again, like, people are playing like, Monster Hunter G or something.
Knockout City
the one
is
that's
a good example.
The online one and stuff like that. Yeah.
Knockout City is one where they just switched it to all, like, I think offline peer-to-peer kind of stuff. I'm trying to think of any other.
Yep, and there is a group trying to rebuild the code in the group, basically, to make that playable offline. Yeah. So, and stuff like that. But then at what point, I mean, there are cases where games have been put through projects by fans that are like, I want to make this workable again. And then companies have stepped in with lawsuits to shut them down as a threat because they plan to release the game as a remaster to resell the game. So
Nintendo. Oh, sorry, what? The amount of games that Nintendo, has that are no longer accessible.
Yep. Well, I mean, there's that digital one that they released for the Switch that had like a collection of the Mario games. You could only buy it for a limited time. They said you can only buy this for X amount of time, and then it's gone. And it's just in a digital library. Yeah. So there's I don't think they ever made a physical version of that.
Yeah, you're talking about the I think Superstars collection. Had
maybe
Sunshine, Galaxy, and 64.
Yeah, that would be the one.
I know because I've looked for the physical copy after, and people are just selling it for double the price that it was when it first came out. But that, it did not need to be a timed product. It doesn't make sense, but it's Nintendo.
Yeah. Well,
anyway.
Destin Leggery was talking with David Jaffe in kind of like a heated conversation where it kind of came up. And Jaffe had one thing to say about how AI could basically fix like the issues of servers not connecting to things in the future. Like just people having AI like in an afternoon or whatever, just kind of like, oh, I want to play this game online, but it doesn't have servers. Build me like a thing in 2 minutes or something. And give me like a framework just to kind of like, so I can play this with my friend or whatever, So
I wouldn't be against developers putting the cost onto the consumer as well. in that. Like, in terms of, like, you can get servers up and running for this game, but it's going to cost X amount of money, and that for it to run. Like,
Yeah.
if there was any way for that to happen, but
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, things. I mean, even we've got mods, right? And took ages for mods to be actually recognized by the developers, and then as soon as that started happening, there was a way to monetize it, right? So as a product,
Stuvie just said a word in chat, and it just frustrated me because I immediately thought of one of my going into other media for a second. Immediately, I just thought of Final Space, which is one of my favorite animated TV shows, and they got killed in the Warner Brothers merger, and done as a tax write-off. And now the final season.
Oh yes,
the final season's only just coming out now as a comic book, like 4 years after the third season, something like that. But
yes, interesting.
do you think they sell more? Anyway, we'll spend a bit of time on this. I'm going to sidesteer us into Splitgate because I think it's
well. I mean, this is related, which is one of the things I wanted to combine that with, right? So,
developer 1047 Games is shutting Splitgate servers soon, which will discontinue all Xbox achievements in the free-to-play multiplayer shooter. So, if you're not aware of what Splitgate is, it's essentially Halo multiplayer with portals. They launched it quite a few years ago now. I want to say like 2021. So yeah, they launched Splitgate 2 back in June. Yeah, geez, it was like towards the start of last month, and it has not been going well. They made a lengthy post on social media explaining the situation, and basically, based around the player feedback, they want to go back to beta for Splitgate 2.
Yeah.
Because they're basically going to like preservation mode, they've unfortunately had to lay off a number of staff. Art department is affected, which you would imagine if the game is going back to beta. Artists are probably not needed, unfortunately, because they're going to be working on making sure the game is right before they worry about like the monetization, the cosmetics, that kind of stuff. They're essentially just going to rebuild major parts of the game. Unfortunately, alongside this, they're shutting down the servers for number one to save money to keep their staff going. But the disappointing thing is, outside of this news story, Splitgate 1 has a very loyal fan base, and when Splitgate 2 came out, it was very... The best way for me to explain it is it was very much designed as a game to be playable by everybody, but enjoyed by none. So the wider you try to cater towards... the wider you try and cater towards your audience, the less people you impress, is always my opinion. Like, you want to be focused on a particular market.
Yep.
I do enjoy Splitgate 2, but nowhere to the same extent as 1. And 1 is very much every environment has a portal. Like, it's like boundless opportunity to get the drop on an enemy, right? Whereas in 2 is like, I have to peek around a corner. There's like only this particular part of the map at this height that has a portal. You have to be a lot more strategic with it. And then it just becomes a bit more stale gameplay. It's still enjoyable, but nowhere to the same extent as some of these other FPS games. Saying that, like, with the first game, they're exploring the possibility of supporting offline or peer-to-peer matches, but I would say there is a slim chance on that. Because if they're in survival mode and they're focusing on getting 2 right, I don't think it's going to be a situation of Splitgate 1 is a focus. I do think it's probably...
Well, yeah.
Just to finish my thought, I do think it will be a point in time where they might do something with Splitgate 1 to appease that audience. It might be a case of, hey, we have the same kind of modes as 1 in Splitgate 2 as a special mode or something along those lines. but I do think Splitgate 1 is basically just going to be removed from store and then servers offline.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, with that Stop Killer Games thing, you can see perfectly clear like
Yep.
how much it cost them. They were as open as they could be in that tweet, right? Saying how much it cost them to keep the game going.
They
when that
were
could be
pretty
going somewhere
transparent
else.
with costs and all that. And
Mm.
if shutting down Splitgate 1 is going to keep devs in a job for another 6 months and that, then I'm totally for it. There's also the case and argument too of like, where do you draw the line with this? Like, if I'm a free player that has never spent a dime on Splitgate 1, but I've enjoyed it and all that, then what's for me to say that the servers should remain on? Because there's no financial commitment that I put into the game to support that, to support them keeping those servers open. That's how it differs from Stop Killing Games. It's just like something like The Crew, for example, where I purchased the product. Where's that lifeline? Like, where do we draw the line? Is it 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years? Where that, if there was a framework set by government where it was just like 2 years down the line after this game has been released, then that purchase is non-void. Like, if there was something on the back of a physical disc that said, this product is good until X date, or online features of this game are good until X date, or this game is... I would be a lot better with that in the long run because it's the communication with consumers.
Like they've done on the Just Dance cases.
Have
Ubisoft have done on I believe, the Just Dance cases. I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
It's like So like, this is something that they're trying, right? So you can do that, but that doesn't excuse, like, for the Stop Killing Game stuff. It doesn't excuse the fact that people the consumers have put their money and invested their money and time into something. But then you're not talking about people who are trying to buy the game after it's shut down.
No,
which is different again, right? So
I do think in terms of, I think to better suit consumers, there should be an expectation of like, when you purchase a game, this game is going to be up for the servers are going to be up for at least 2 years, unless something really, unless the company goes bankrupt.
Yeah.
Or something like that. But then, alright, to give you an example, and it's one that I absolutely hate, the 2K games always do it with their basketball games and all, like the sports titles, right? It's very much, alright, you want to get that as close as launch as possible, because you know that 1 year after the fact, they're going to close those servers.
Yeah.
They're going to discontinue those treatments. And I do think I would be a lot better off as a consumer if I knew that, alright, Joe Blow has released this game. I know from day one of release that 2 years past that date, the servers are going to be online. There might be like an outage or something along those lines, which I could forgive them for. But I know that the servers are not going to be offline until that date. And then I have nobody to blame by myself. Zach makes a really good point in the chat where it's just like, well, what about those games that close the they close the servers with no expectations, or they delist the game and it's no longer available. I mean, most of the time it's fine because a lot of popular games you can just pick up physical media, especially when it comes to delisting. But now that we're more into a digital age, I feel like that is going to become more and more of a problem. Like,
the preservation. Yeah.
I was going to say, me and you
having
and
access
Jake's
to libraries.
Discord, and that's how we keep up with most of the delisting information. Because fortunately, being on Xbox is a little bit slower to, act on some stuff. So if there's a Steam announcement saying that these things are going, or this is getting delisted, Steam is like click of the fingers, whereas an Xbox might happen a few days later.
Yeah, yeah, and that might just be a regional thing, like a timing, X time, whatever thing, but it is kind of an advantage a little bit, of sorts. But yeah, so you can kind of read tea leaves like in certain aspects when things are trying to like act one particular way or whatever. But yeah,
I'm,
so
I'll
it
be
is tricky, but
I'll be honest. Going back to Splitgate as well, I'm a bit bummed because like I'll just get like a little bit of games that I've been playing out of the way. Splitgate 2 I completed last weekend. I have like it wasn't I'm not going to say like it was 10 out of 10, it was absolutely amazing and all that kind of thing. But it was one of those games that, nobody in the Discord wanted to play. It's not really an achievement hunting friendly game. But I did make a few friends on it just partying up. Like there was one guy that I communicated through Discord with, and it was just sending gifts to each other about how bad the enemy team was after each match.
yeah,
And I was like, all right, I don't really get that. I don't really get those moments outside of the achievement hunting community as much anymore. Where it's just, mate, I'm just playing this game. I really like Splitgate. I want to get ranked or something like that. And he was like
yeah.
really keen for hot zones, and it was like, yeah, I need to get hot zone achievement as well. Like, let's just smash it out.
Hmm?
Because,
Yeah, cool. Yeah.
Because the other thing about FPS games with objectives is players never go for the objective.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, there's not much else to really say about Splitgate, but
did you want to touch on the other two news pieces really quick?
yeah. All right, so I'll go for the other one, which was really surprising. Microsoft backtracks on its controversial $80 price for the Outer Worlds 2. So they walked back their decision. The game is going to go back to the price tag of $70, and then refunds are being issued to people who have pre-ordered the game.
Yep.
Saying
That's
that,
cool.
on top of that as well, they basically, an Xbox spokesperson put out a statement saying, we're focused to bringing players incredible worlds to explore, and we'll keep our full-priced holiday releases, including the Outer Worlds 2, at $70 in line with current market conditions. So my question there is like, all right, is this going to be, if this is just seasonal and all that, are we going to see the price rise next year? Are they just trying to earn a little bit of goodwill? Or is it going to be a case of, $80 is too much? We saw like, Borderlands 4, Randy was getting,
I know
votes
this
to the...
might be a surprise, but is it an $80 game or is it a $70 game?
Okay, so from what I've seen of the previews already too, Outer Worlds 2 is a great step up from the Outer Worlds 1, but I wonder if everybody still has that perception of the Outer Worlds 1 was like a $60 to $70 game. It's not something that I would pay $80. Like, it's just, it's positioning, right? In consumers' heads, whether it is going to be...
It was one of the first, like, really early ones that kind of popped up into Game Pass as well, I think. So, like, in terms of, like, games that were day one on Xbox, owned by Xbox, I think, one of the very first.
It's a great game, but I'm not, like, thinking, oh, this is, like, the next Skyrim or, it's not a big title like some of other Bethesda's other stuff.
Yeah, and we saw kind of like what people were thinking of Avowed and stuff like that, and I think that just kind of came and went, really, didn't it? So, so maybe they just don't really know where they'll sit with the game.
I think the problem too is like Xbox has first party titles that aren't really console sellers. They're the games that you categorize in the 7 and 8s, which are really good experiences and really hold up Game Pass, but they're not the kind of stuff that you would buy full price at release.
Yeah.
Or at least from my mind as a consumer. I'm sure there's people out there that love RPGs and are keen for the Outer Worlds 2.
Mhm.
I
Yep.
mean, there's definitely stuff in there that I am, but it wouldn't be if I had money to spend on like 5 titles a year, one that I would choose from a mind.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah, I never really played. I mean, I played a little bit, like the first opening bit of the first game when it
I
came
need to
out, but
get
I
back
didn't
to it.
really dig into it. So it is probably something I could go back to and try, but yeah, I don't know. It's it was loved so much, but I mean, are they adding content to it? The first one had two really good DLCs, but then it also had the issue where it's the old version was owned by another company,
Yeah.
and that's on the store, and then the new version is owned by, I guess the new subset of what came from that, and then so they're I guess they're in a weird spot
Yeah.
with what they had to do with the licensing for that first one, but
I mean, the other thing too is like Red Ninja Jan says in the chat, I'm still on the fence about Outer Worlds 2. I mean, that's the beauty of Game Pass. You can pay for a month, you can try it out, try a whole bunch of games out, and then decide if there's like even if somebody wants to keep their games, Game Pass is still a great way to be like, all right, is this worth my money in the long run? Like Achievement Hunters would probably want to complete the full game, but as a casual consumer, it kind of gives you like a try before you buy policy.
Yeah, I'm stuck with I have X amount of games that I own on the console, and then what do I have to uninstall to install this new Game Pass game?
Make
And
make the Seagate memory cards cheaper. That's the only thing Xbox needs to do.
I have one, and I still run out of room. So I need to finish games, so I delete them. That's the main thing. They stay installed until they're finished, and I just don't finish them.
I need to
So
use that memory card so I can just be like, all right, I've got the two consoles. I can just go back and forth. But all right, moving on to the next story. Xbox multi-platform ports are hitting it big.
Yep.
Cleaner Christopher Dring from the game business, Priscilla highlights the success of Xbox's current multi-platform strategy, noting that Forza 5 specifically is a big hit. So Forza Horizon 5 was like one of the most best-selling games of the year.
I think the best-selling game on PlayStation, or very close to, at the moment. So, so I wonder. Yeah, I don't know if there's like a thing on the PlayStation app at all where I could just see what's like hot at the moment, but it's basically always there on the list.
Well, going through June 2025 top 20 best-selling premium games for US dollar sales. Yeah, Forza Horizon 5 is like it dropped to 6 from like 3rd. But then you got stuff like okay, obviously they bought Activision Blizzard, Call of Duty's up there. I'm wondering with this kind of stuff too, how I think it was Nick made a post yesterday about surely there's a Sony executive in a boardroom thinking somewhere like Forza's like making a lot of money for Microsoft over on PlayStation. I wonder if we put Spider-Man on Xbox, how it would do. Like, surely there's some cogs like that being like...
Well, I mean, we need to see how, Helldivers goes. So, Helldivers? Yeah, Helldivers. Yeah.
If you want Spider-Man, buy Helldivers day one.
Yeah, exactly right. I've already tagged it. So, I mean, like, if I'm going to do things like support, like Square Enix finally bringing their games over to Xbox, I need to support PlayStation bringing their games over to Xbox, right? So,
I mean, Arrowhead are pretty.
This is like it's an industry thing, not a oh, I like this company over another company kind of thing. So, yeah, support where you think there's going to be the most benefit, I guess, to you. So,
and then realize you got too many games, you'll never catch up, and then another server will be announced, then you'll just be Forever.
Yeah, but
chasing dreams.
but I only play games that have multiplayer and co-op on them, and then that is what that game is. What are you talking about? You guys are grabbing it, aren't you?
Moving along.
And I'll be able to. It's not going to take me much to look. If I get convinced to play Raft,
Yeah.
guess who's getting convinced to? Well, yeah, I mean, he's already jumped on board. Mister Scooby Doo
I was
is.
gonna say if
picked up
you get
Elden Ring,
convinced,
right? So
if you get convinced to play Raft, then I don't know. I'll just bring a whip to the wedding, you know, and we'll just continuously just keep whipping you with server closures.
well, yeah, we already know what I'm wearing apparently. So, and it's, revealing and
Moving
Made
along. Project Cars 3 is getting what was it? Where was the article that I put that in?
yeah,
Project Cars 3 is getting its servers shut down in February next year. It's getting delisted next month. I do believe some of the community have sent messages asking if they can do a final sale. But yeah, servers will close.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Servers will close in February 24th, 2026. Exactly 6 months following its delisting, and it seems like the only servers they're going to keep online is Project Cars 2, which seems to be the only game that did well in the series, unfortunately. But I know I'm going to be chasing the completion for that one.
I'm pretty sure I ended up with a cheap version of the Disc of 3.
Yeah,
that DLC is killer. So you either grab the whole thing as a whole digitally, or pay out the wazoo for the individuals. So,
all right, I just got news from TA. Dwarf Romantic is coming to Xbox in August.
Okay,
that is sick. I'm so keen for that. All right, yeah, sorry, I got very distracted then.
No, that's cool. Yeah, no, that's cool. I don't know
Game
too
Pass
much
updates.
about that one.
You want to go for them?
Yeah, let's go. All right, let me just scroll down to that real quick. Game Pass updates. Thanks for filling that out because I didn't get to have a look at it. All right, so we have joining on, what is the date today? The 25th?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, so we have had join already. High on Life. Again. RoboCop Rogue City. My Friendly Neighborhood. Back to the Dawn. Abiotic Factor, which just popped up a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
Wheel World as well, which I don't know anything about, but I've seen a couple people playing.
Pretty
yesterday,
good indie title from what I've
yeah.
From what
Oh
I've
yeah,
seen.
actually, I'm kind of thinking I remember the trailer now. Wu-Chang Fallen Feathers joined yesterday.
Yep.
So check that one out. Apparently it's not for a couple of people so far that I've heard already, but I'm yet to uninstall something to have enough room to play it.
I'll give it.
And I'm kind of stuck. Yep. Grounded 2 is coming on July 29th. So that's game preview. So it'll be probably like the first game where it won't have achievements for ages, and then 1.0 they'll just do a bunch of stuff. And then August 1st we have Farming Simulator 25 on August 1st. So leaving we have Gigantic, Kinitsugami Path of the Goddess, and Turnip Boy Robs a Bank. So
I'll talk a little bit about Turnip Boy Robs the Bank. Kinitsugami is a good game, but I'm probably going to pick it up outside of Game Pass. I just didn't know around to finishing it.
Yep. Yeah, like Exoprimal, which I was looking at. So, which we don't talk about Exoprimal. We don't talk about Exoprimal, do we? So, But yeah, so
there, screw you.
Yeah, we've played together before, so all right. Let's keep moving on.
Going for our Patreon shoutouts. So we have Old Man Clown, Cavalier 07, Hack and Bone, Kung Fu Skills, Have Eagles, Admiral Awesome, Natalita, Lee Howard, Left for Legacy, and Venom AU. I was going to say Venom then. We appreciate the support and couldn't do the show without you. So thank you very much. You want to go over our monthly theme?
Yeah, so we have the Bimestral Burden. So it's monthly theme for theme for every 2 months. So July and August is co-coping. It's you and your buddies against the world. So team up and play co-op games. I'm playing so many co-op games. I pretty much always play co-op games. And yeah, play some co-op games. Get your friends involved. Drag them through the mud of Destiny 1 on Xbox 360 because you know you want to.
I gotta do Destiny 2, don't I?
Yeah, I need to do Destiny 1 on the Xbox One. Yeah, let's see. All right. And I guess is there anything games playing that you wanted to talk about straight off the bat?
I'll quickly just go through mine. So I think I've already talked
Yep.
about Splitgate 2. I got that completion. I think it's still around like a 12 ratio. Funnily enough, it just took. So I went into last weekend with one goal, right? Was to finish Splitgate 2. Hot zone captures, which is basically capture the point until it fills in, was like my third last achievement. I got that done with a random that wanted to do in ranked, and it's good when you have a teammate that wants to play the actual objective. So we were just helping each other out with that. Then the last two things I needed to do were triple kills and savior medals, which is basically... it's like a guy... Savior medals or guardian angel medals is basically saving somebody from dying. So they get weakened and then you kill the enemy that's killing them. Funnily enough, this was also one of those times where the achievements stopped popping on screen for me. So everything was just a silent pop.
Yep.
I got those two. I swear I was going to get that achievement and then it was going to be like a 4-hour grind for the other one. I got the other achievement like 2 minutes after. And I was so happy that I checked and didn't waste time. So yeah, happy to just get Splitgate 2 down. Very sad about the the announcement and all that, but I do think them taking it back to beta is probably for the best. The game and the map designs are really good. It's just the fact that the portal placement around the map isn't great. Like, the most fun you'll definitely have is in Takedown, where you can just portal anywhere. But the more mainstream maps, they're pretty to look at, but not much past that. Outside of that, talking about Turnip Boy Robs the Bank, I originally did Turnip Boy when it first hit Game Pass, and then I had problems with the quest lines unlocking. Now that I was leaving Game Pass, I was like, I've got 4 achievements left. I'll go back to it and clean it up. Quest lines was still a little bit funny, but I just like brute forced it a bit and then managed to get the completion.
I didn't really see any trouble myself, but yeah.
I think it was just certain NPCs and all that. Like, when you do a run, they're not always in the exact same spot. And I think that might have messed with my brain back then, but then when I realized that I was fine. It took me like an hour and a half, 2 hours to clean up, maybe.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, I did that. I guess the other ones that I really want to talk about is, I'll let you talk about Anthem.
Okay.
I will talk about Menominee Lane. So Menominee Lane is a game that hit Game Pass. It is a very popular Steam title from a development studio, I think of 3 developers, if I'm not mistaken. Pardon me. With it, it's that cute, cozy, very simple to understand kind of business simulator where essentially you got a street, you got buildings on this lane, and they serve a particular purpose. So like there might be a ramen shop, or there's a boba shop, and you're just picking the items that go into the ramen and then perfecting the recipe to earn more money. So you build your ramen shop, you'll mess around the recipe, you'll check the customers doing the reviews, and they might be like, all right, that had a little bit too much egg in it. That price was a little too high for me. Or that price was a little bit too low. I don't trust this shop. So yeah, you do. You basically just tweak that. Very easy to understand. Make a bit of money throughout the day, and then you'll build a elderly home. And then you'll have some elderly people coming in, and now you've got to build another ramen shop to cater to your young population and your elderly population.
So it's all about the ramen shop,
It's
basically.
starting off with the ramen shop is the first mission,
Mm.
and teaching you
Okay.
how to make money by altering the recipes. Then the second day, it's introducing the elderly and the young people. So now you've got to have two ramen shops, one to make the perfect recipe for the young people. So they might want like a combination that works out slightly cheaper.
Yeah,
So
they want avocado on toast, right? So
well,
they want avocado on toast, and
it's
the
a
old
mixture of
people
these
want.
four items. So you're just mixing them until the perfect recipe. Don't get me sidetracked. So you're making the recipe perfect, and then the elderly will have like a different taste. They might be willing to spend a little bit more, but they want, some more protein or something in their meal. So you'll do that, and then there might be a boba shop that comes up, and then you've got to work on the recipe for that. So the concept for each of these shops is pretty simple. It's like, what is the perfect recipe for this particular population, which is usually always the elderly or the young.
Right.
And then just catering to that. There's one achievement in there that is perfecting 4 recipes across 4 different shops through both product and price. But it's pretty easy to figure out because you can hire somebody to give you customer feedback, and then you're just going through it. Like, it's a very basic business simulator kind of game. Took me 2 hours to complete. It's very cute. It has tanuki, like the Japanese raccoon kind of cats in it. Like, very cutesy art style, very calming, cozy. And there's only like 5 missions you got to do. And you just got to do.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You can change the speed of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I know Zach in the chat was playing it as well.
Yeah,
So
very, very chill
recommended
game. Outside of that, the only thing that I've really been working on is Doom the Dark Ages. I've just been going through a mission at a time, working on my mastery challenges. I don't know if the fact that this game is so accessible makes it less enjoyable.
Yeah, interesting. I haven't gone back to it yet, so I don't know. But
I'm just like, I need to just get this done because like I've done 2016. 2016 is definitely my favorite, but I'm really struggling to think of like, is the what's the second one called again? Eternal. Is Eternal better than Dark Ages? Because I feel like the Eternal is more puzzly, which I don't like, but it is difficult. Like the difficult feels right, whereas I've obviously made it too easy for myself in the Dark Ages, and I can change that. But I don't want to be. I kind of want the developer just to be like, make it right.
Yeah. Okay. I only played 2016, and then I did the multiplayer in Eternal. So I think I'd probably enjoy Dark Ages a lot more, having not played Eternal yet. I think. And then I'll probably go and do Eternal. Like
there's stuff, there's stuff with the Dark Ages too that I'm kind of like. To give you an example, like BFG in 2016 in Eternal is different to the BFC, which is a crossbow in Dark Ages.
Sure.
And it's still a powerful weapon, but it doesn't feel as powerful. Like the guns and all that look like aesthetically and all that, they're really cool. But functionally in that, I don't know if they are enjoyable as the other games.
No, okay. Yep. Yeah. It's not like a giant boot, basically, stomping on somebody.
Yeah.
Like, and everything's squishy, it's kind of going everywhere. like you see in like the old Doom games.
I mean,
stuff like that. So,
the stuff like them saying too, like this is our biggest Doom game yet and all that. Like, I mean, ultimately as well, like the dragon sections are fine. Like they're definitely my least favorite. They just are, there's a lot of this game that just feels like okay compared to what the game was marketed as. But
okay, interesting. Well, you know, if they gave the Doom guy like a headset, a little Walkman or something for those dragon sections, then yeah, we'd have Scalebound. So you know, we'd be fine. Right, so then we could leave it at that. We'll have our Scalebound release and we're good. So
moving along with that, talking about games that are shutting down, Anthem. You want to discuss Anthem?
All right. Well, I don't hate Anthem. I don't hate Anthem as much as I thought I would, but the things that I like about Anthem are the flying. I like how aesthetically pleasing the characters look, but I don't like when they're talking to me. So, like, yeah. But, I mean, flying around the world is fine. I like that. You know, love it. It's fine. It's very strange, though, some of the things that they've made as a decision with this game. So,
I let Percy play this for 5 seconds and all that. She loves the flying and all that. And I'm just like, that's cute. The biggest thing for me is, like, every time I play this, it's like, damn, I really want them to make an Iron Man game. And that's the only thought I have leaving the game. Every time I go back to a hub, to, like, the fort and that, I'm just like, I just don't want to be here. I just want to get back into flying.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what's taken me so long to start the game, right? Well, to be fair, I did start the game. I played up to Chapter 10. Chapter 10 is the open world bit where you don't know what the fuck you're doing.
Yeah.
And turns out you've just got to do open world stuff, which is basically do world events, kill X amount of enemies this way or that way, or, you know, or find chests in the environment and stuff like that. And it's just like, I don't want to do those things. I just wanted to do the missions and then do those things. I didn't want to be forced to learn the open world stuff before I was ready for it. I wanted to enjoy the story, and then apparently everybody stops at this point, right? I stopped at this point. You were basically up to that point, which is fine because you got your stuff done really quickly because we were just smashing it out. But like, and that mission is a lot shorter than I thought it was going to be. I thought we'd going to be stuck in that section for a lot longer, but yeah. So I mean,
I think the thing I'm realizing more about it too is like it feels very Destiny. But, like, Destiny's gunplay feels a lot better. Like, every time I'm in an actual battle, I kind of feel like... I want the guns to be, like, a little bit more punchier. I want to feel like I have some control over it, but... Do you get what I mean? Like, the flying and everything is perfect. But just the actual being down on the ground and doing stuff is missing something.
Yeah, like you can, when you're on the ground, you can run. When you're in the air, you can fly or you can hover. And like, there's not really a fast combination of all of those things. You're either doing one or the other. You're not like bounding around and swapping between a lot of different things. And like, yeah, it just feels way too clunky. For what they were trying to do with it. And all of the elements are separated, but not in a good way. So it just feels so disjointed.
Like, as a final product, it has not come together. But, like, I could... The problem is, too, like, if this wasn't a live service game, too, I could see this being... Like, this could have been a really good single player. But...
Yep.
You know what?
Yeah, I had the same trouble going into the Avengers, where I would get into a mission and go, I don't know what the hell I'm doing here, and then quit the game without finishing the mission properly, because it was just clearly not Like, and it's not like I wanted it to be handholdy.
Yeah.
It's just like I'd want to go, like you're on the ship, the whatever it is, the Avengers ship. I don't know what it's called,
Yeah.
and you've got the globe that shows you all the missions, and you look at that and you're like, what are the main missions and what are the second missions? Oh, what have I done and what haven't I done? You don't know. You're looking at this mess of stuff and it's not clear of what's what. And then you go into a mission and then you're like, oh, what am I supposed to be doing here? Like, I don't know. So unless you're being guided through like a single path, then you basically get stuck, like just not wanting to play the game. Which is kind of where I felt with that middle section of Anthem as well. I'm just like, I don't want to do this like at all. So, but yeah, so, which Avengers I never finished as well. So, but yeah, much for the same reason. So,
That's
but
pretty
yeah,
much
that's pretty much an experience so far with Anthem and stuff. Other than that, there's been a couple of different things I've been doing over the last couple of weeks. I was doing the challenge for Retro Classics to try to get top 50 in one of the weekly challenges things you have to be. And I happened to join on the last day. There was one, basically, I'm trying to remember what it is, but it's basically like Frogger, and there's 10-lane highway, and you have to cross. It's like an old Activision game. You had to cross 10 lanes of traffic, and I managed to get 34, because out of the top 50, and then slowly, leading up to the final hours, I sunk down to 50, and then stayed at 50. So I managed to finally get that achievement where it's basically be in the top 50 for the week. And that's like the biggest part of the, like, outside of grinding for the gems you need to get the collectibles in the game.
the second
That's
one, right?
That's the hardest thing you have to do. Everything else is just play every day and get gems and grind and stuff like that. So, because some of those collectibles just cost too much for the what you get, and yeah, I think there's like 50 people that have finished the game or something already. But there's a couple of tricks that people were using to kind of, pass themselves challenges to other profiles and build that up and get gems really quickly that way. So we were working on Split Fiction as well. We've got maybe one or two sessions left, but that was quite good. I'm still loving it, and like there's nothing I don't really not like about the game. Just the characters, the levels, all that kind of stuff is really great. In saying that, the next day with Todd, I ended up jumping in and doing It Takes Two. That game I don't like as much. And have you played It Takes Two? Because you played both now, haven't you?
I think I've played all their catalog, because what is it? There's a Way Out,
which I haven't played either. And I hadn't played a Way Out or It Takes Two before Split Fiction, and love Split Fiction. Like, the problem that I have with It Takes Two is that the story is contained. It's supposed to be a very dark story, right? But the way that it's, I guess, all of the things you do within the levels are really fantastical, because you're like, obviously these dolls, and you're going through like all these environments related to household stuff. And when it comes to the really dark stuff, like when you see them trying to showcase how the daughter is feeling towards their parents, then there's kind of like a disconnect, because they really just don't hit those moments properly, and you don't feel like they're all connecting with each other. So it's like trying to bring all that back in so that everybody loves everybody again. Then that's okay, but it just the story just isn't like, the levels are fantastic though. The boss is great. Love all of that stuff, and just as much as I do it in Split Fiction, but it's kind of like not quite there yet. But we've got a lot of game left, so hopefully it surprises me a little bit more. Um, other than doing the Super Dungeon Bros every day, and maybe a little bit of Power Wash Simulator, just kind of fill the cracks. Monster Hunter, I finally finished the end game of Iceborne. So on the last pod, I was trying to get. There was like a reoccurring monster leading up to the end of the game, Neo Gigante, but not quite the last boss. And then you kind of go into the second part of that battle, which is the boss, and the boss has 3 phases. And then, like, it's a really cool boss, but it's very slow. So it starts out really, really slow, and you're like, okay, this is fine. And then when in the second phase pops up, the boss is still really slow, but does like a whole different subset of moves. So it's completely different. And then the third phase, I'm not spoiling anything for anybody. Everybody should play that game where they can, but it's really tough to do solo. The third part is basically the same subset of moves, but then with some bullshit tactics thrown in there that really kill you very quickly. So you spend this whole thing happens in 15-minute, because most of the monsters in their normal levels you finish in about 50 minutes. That's the time cap, and then you can't. You basically fail. I finished it with. I played it a few times, and the last time solo, I finished it with 20 seconds left. So I really had to scramble at the last little bit just to kind of kill that boss off. But now it's all endgame stuff, which is awesome. So it's just go in, go where I want to, go to the last part of the story. The end of the story opens up a new area, and it's kind of like a cool combination of everything you've seen so far, and you've got to work towards getting the tough monsters again. So in its own way, it's just pretty cool. So now I've just got to basically grind all that out and sort it. So, but yeah, that's basically it for me too. So I'm gonna keep going with Monster Hunter and try a few new things hopefully this week now that that story's done. So
just made me realize you should probably go for a Capcom series completion. Like just yeah,
like I could because I've got my Resident Evil stuff in there, which is a lot of Resident Evil games, and I could. But you mean Capcom overall? Capcom? Because they've got a lot. Yeah, they've got a lot of games. There's a lot of fighting games in there, which I have a lot of the fighting games. I play a lot of the games.
You've done
so
7% of the whole collection. It's like halfway there, right?
Yeah, true. I'd have to have a look at that list if it's like but I reckon
DuckTales.
There's probably I've got to finish that off. There's probably I've done a lot of the multiplayer in a lot of those games. So anything that I've started, it's really just grindy, like all the fighting tactics and stuff like that you have to do in some of the fighting games. I'm trying to source maybe a copy of Street Fighter 4 Arcade for Games Windows Live, but that one is tricky because there really wasn't anything released over here that we could get a hold of. So it's not impossible. And that one has like a play with 8 players and do this and this kind of thing. So you want to try to get somebody online doing like Games Windows with that stuff, man. So yeah, I could do it. But it's a lot. So I've got to do Devil May Cry. That's another one too. So
any Dead Island updates? Mr. Dead Island has just jumped into the chat.
We've kind of skipped out the last couple of times that we've been doing it. So we are really just grinding out the very end of the 40 missions and all that kind of stuff.
Not coping with the co-op.
So no, it's fine. We've just kind of both had a couple of odd days that we weren't able to join up when we could have. So like last night, I wasn't feeling it, he wasn't feeling it. And we're just kind of like, I'm just going to do stuff by myself, so, but yeah. But we'll work that stuff out. So we're actually going to play after this if he's still up for it, but we'll see.
No, that's all good. Should we go for a leaderboard?
Yep.
I'll do leaderboard and you do completion shoutouts because I've not put them in the chat and I cannot access Discord.
Well, we have to update on the word challenge first.
Oh,
So-
did I skip something? Yeah, sorry. Word
So,
challenge.
so Styx Master of Shadows was the game, and Left 4 Legacy won. So
Which I
we'll have a new
completely
game
missed.
next week. We just had to make sure that we got that in there. So congratulations, Left 4 Legacy. Yeah, it was good. It wasn't too far long after the podcast too, I think. So
That's probably why I missed it.
yeah.
Easy.
All right.
Hub leaderboard. So, now I understand why Mr. Professor Pluto has shown up the only time this year.
Oh right.
In
Okay.
number
Here we go.
three,
Here
we
we
have
go.
Fresh Forever at 12,215.
Yep.
Number 2, we have Professor Pluto on 13,200. Sorry. Professor
Yep.
Pluto 1 on 13,200.
Yeah.
Oh,
I bet he
Quinn
didn't
says,
even
how
know he
could
was
I
there."
have known? He couldn't have possibly looked at the leaderboard. And then in number 1 we have Basham on 14,620. Good job, guys.
Yep.
All right, do you want to go
Low
through completion
numbers
shoutouts?
this week, but yeah, I'll do that. Let's go in there now. Wait, have you got that listed?
No, that's what I'm saying. I haven't put them in, and I can't view the Discord because it will break the stream.
Oh right. Okay, cool. Well,
Unless you want me
I've
looking
not
through
had to do that. Let me just have a look. Because I would have to death scroll through the completions
That's
channel to
fine.
even
Give
work
me-
out what
give
we're
me
doing.
2 seconds.
So,
All right. Shane completed Dishonored, which is
okay.
fucking crazy. Natalita did Rainbow Six Siege X, which he
Yep.
was talking about his breach charge kill, which is pretty good. Valak did the
Yep.
PS4 port of Anthem. Neo did Wrath of the Ancients DLC for Everspace 2. Left 4 Legacy did the Ready or Not Iron Man achievements, which apparently, hearing it's a great game. Mick Free ID did Operation Tango. I did Minami Lane Tenor Boy. Venoms did Claire Obscura Expedition 33, which I'm trying to get to now. Shattered Slide did Ready
Okay,
or
cool.
Not. What are we up to? 20th. 2 more days. Dragon Frame did Vampire Survivors yet again. I did Splitgate 2.
Wait, Vampire Survivors. Is there a new...
I don't think there's a
Update
new
again?
one, but I need to double check.
Okay, cool. Right.
Invaded
Okay.
TDS did Rayman Origins. And I think that's it for the week. Yep.
Cool. Awesome.
And
That's
Professor Pluto got 12,000 and what? He's telling me he didn't get a single completion this week? What the hell? Pardon me. Come on, defend yourself. Alright, anyway.
Alright, let's get quiet. Let's let him defend himself. No talking.
No, that's fine. We'll just
Podcast
close off
is
the
gonna have
show.
dead
He's
zone.
got no chance now. That's fine. Discord. If you want to find us, you can join our Discord. We usually talk shit like we do here. Okay, I did, but I don't post baby game completions. Well,
That's respectable.
he hasn't posted in a while.
I don't know.
So
All right, so we need to go back through his TA page and just see his baby games and call them all out. That's what he's saying that we need to do.
he's chasing the leaderboard.
So-
I'm pretty sure it's fine. He's gonna do some hard completions one day.
Hey, we're working on some stuff.
I'm talking a big game now because I know what next year's going to be like. I'm going to be absolutely miserable. But to give everybody perspective, I wrote down a list of 24 games I want to do the next year that are above a 5.0 ratio because I'm fucking mental.
Yeah. And to add to that perspective, Monster Hunter is over 5 and it's a 600-hour completion. So
It's fine. We can do that over the space of a year. That's fine. Who is this Professor Pluto one guy? I know. Oh dear. All right, so yeah, if you want to contact us, you can contact us by email at hallagamerspodcast@gmail.com or Twitter at hallagamerspod. You can help us. You can help people subscribe to the podcast on iTunes and other podcast platforms such as Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, etc. Leave a review. Tell your friends. Tell your boosting session. Tell your mother. Actually, you don't need to tell your mother. I told her last night. Anyway, you can write questions in the show, and we'll endeavour to answer them in the next episode. Keo, where can people find you?
All right, you can find me at your wedding in September at this address. So bring your mother. No, so basically you can.
It's problematic because we're gonna have a photographer there, and I could really develop a calendar if I wanted to.
And my wife will also be there, so that will make also more problems with your mother being there. So, you can find me at How to Fix Gaming on YouTube, just for videos and stuff like that, and you can find me Keo Live at Home everywhere else. So, Xbox, hit me up for co-op games or something. Discord, Twitter, X, whatever it's called these days. All those places, and Instagram as well. You can find weird little shit that I make up. So that's about it.
I'm Shadowless, and you can catch me on TA, Xbox, True Achievements, Discord. But yeah, just send me a party invite on Xbox. Otherwise, that was episode 178 of the Holy Games podcast, and we'll catch you next time.
Peace out.
Bye, everyone.